Good evening, everyone. You are listening to the soft sounds of Friday Night Hangout by Craft Beer Nation. Tonight we're gonna do something a little different, a little variation of a drinker's choice, doing something new for the ladies and for the guys. Before we get started, I want to let you know that you can find Craft Beer Nation on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We have a show called Pints and Quarts. It can be found on any podcast venue of your choice. Had a show last night with Oscar Blues. Great guys, great beer. So without further ado, let's get this show started. Gil Mello, to my far left. How you doing tonight, Gil?
Doing good. Just gonna take that. I'm doing awesome, man.
Lola, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. I'm just going along for the ride.
I'm doing
Charles
amazing.
Dunkley. What's up, Charles?
How you doing, Randy? Doing very good.
All right. And somebody's picture just went away, and I can't see who it is because their name is Craft Beer Nation. Anyway, skipping. Freddie, what's up?
How's it going? Feeling relaxed, thanks to you.
How things going? How are things going up in Beantown?
Doing great.
All right. Linda holding it down on the West Coast.
Randy, you make me want to buy you a beer now.
It's a good gig.
I'll walk up to you anywhere and just go, wow, you got the best voice.
And Ricky Potts holding it down in the home of the cactus.
What's up, man? I'm kind of sad that you stopped. I kind of wanted to go through the entire lineup, but I didn't think you could make it all the way through.
I screwed him up. Sorry.
All right, so like I said tonight, it's a little bit of a drinker's choice, but the caveat is that it has parameters. All right, so it's something new. So everybody here is drinking a beer that they've never had before. So let's go ahead and get it started. Gil sent you all the way on my far left. Let's start with you. What are you drinking, man?
Well, I'm drinking a gift from my friend Jeffrey Daves from Texas. It's Ranger Creek Brewing Company down in Texas.
Okay.
I should have checked where they are in Texas before, but I'll get back to
It's
you.
a tiny state. Don't worry.
somewhere in Texas.
Yeah.
It's called La Bestia Amiable, or amiable. Yeah, whatever. It's a French word. La Bestia is Spanish for the beast, and amiable, or whatever is the pronunciation, is friendly in French. So it's supposed to be the friendly beast.
That's like Randy.
So you telling me they have a Spanish word and a French word?
Well, it seems that this is done to commemorate. Let's see, I have the guy's name here, La Salle, who claimed Texas for France at the time before it was part of U.S. And and his boat is called Amable, or whatever is the pronunciation here. So, but they want to bring the Spanish heritage, the Mexican, all together on a quad.
So
Confusing.
A Spanish guy claiming Texas.
No, I think it's by his name, La Salle. He probably was a French guy. Yeah.
Okay, a French guy claiming a Spanish territory for France in America.
Right.
Well, it wasn't
Yeah.
America at the time, but you know.
That
And the-
happened in Jacksonville.
And
Did you
yeah, and then they try, and then they choose a quad style.
Right, a Belgian.
Belgian quad. Sure. Why not, right?
So how is it? How is it drinking?
It's pretty good. I mean, as a beer, I like a lot. As a quad, as a style, it's a little pushing to be a quad. Still pretty good. There's a nice kind of a umber color. I mean, I've already drunk most of it. You can see there.
So
but,
more like a double, would you say?
It's a dark Belgian, like a strong dark. I mean, you could say it's a quad. It's just a little too warm. There's not enough dark fruit to me.
Okay.
But there's a bit of sourness that I'm not sure, a tartness that I'm not sure what is having that. So it's actually pretty pleasant. It is on. It is on the warmer side. It's on the. It's more alcoholic. I think this is 9 something. It's 9.4%. Well, they put 9.4%, 21 Plato, 19 SRM, and 21 IBUs. Man, that's a lot of information for one small bottle.
I like that though. That's
And
like,
they have and they have the story. I just realized they have the whole story down here.
Who
on
do
the
they think
bottle.
they are, Stone? But I like that. A Southern Tier does that as well. They give you like IBUs, Plato, like original gravity. They give you a lot of stuff on their bottles. So, but I kind of sometimes it's good to have that information.
It is good, but it's not always the breweries can have all that. A lot of those stuff are kind of not exact, and a lot of the beers we drink, we think like big brewers do everything. But not all the beers are like that. But I like it. It's a pretty nice beer. I get a little bit of vanilla. I get that dark fruit, but it's not as much as I like on a quad. Like when you drink like a big quad, like a Three Philosophers or any of the Trappist beers.
Okay.
The breadiness from the east is there for sure. It's a pretty solid beer. I never heard from Ranger Creek before. This is my first, not only a new beer for me, but it's a new brewery as well.
So here's the question: would you buy it again?
I would drink again. I'm not sure if I would seek this out.
He's like, if somebody gave it to me, I'd drink it. But
No. I'm telling you what. I do drink Belgians quite often. I don't buy Belgians as often as I would like. I'm not sure the reason why.
Mhm.
I think there's so much stuff coming out all the time, and the American craft beer is so prominent right now. There's so much stuff going out that sometimes you oversee a lot of the quads and the Belgian styles. Not because the beer is bad. It's just something that I haven't done on the last past years, seeking out more of the quads and things like that.
Word.
I probably would buy. I would, if I'm in a bar, I probably would order it. No problem.
Okay.
And if I'm Texas, picking up something from a different state to bring back home, sure, I would get that beer. I'm not gonna tell you it's like an amazing beer. It's a very solid, very good beer. A very good job for. I don't know how big this brewery is. I need to take a look. Never heard of them, so I don't think they're very big. At least not country-wise. So to take on a quad is, it's always a bold move for a small brewery to do.
Indeed.
They did some interesting beers a few years back. They had like a strawberry, I think it was a strawberry stout, and a couple other ones that were just as interesting. But try them, and it's a strawberry milk stout. That's what it was. Yeah.
And I like, I got this from Jeffrey Daves, and he is my go-to guy when I have questions about Belgian styles and that kind of thing, and so yeah, it's pretty good. And what was what is the name of your set again, Alan?
It was a strawberry milk stout. I don't know if they actually named it or not, but I guess back in 2010 or 2011, they were having issues with it, but year later they had fixed whatever was going on with the infection or whatnot.
They should call it a strawberry Nesquik.
And get sued.
Yeah.
They could do it slow because you have to drink it slowly.
They'd still get
It was funny.
Lola Laracy, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, she's gonna be here every Friday.
I'll be here all night until I pass out because I'm in my recliner. I was smart tonight.
Well, Lola, what are you drinking in your recliner tonight?
Well, this is a brewery I've had before, and they're one of my favorite breweries. They're called Red Brick. They're from Atlanta, Georgia.
Yep.
Georgia.
I've had their barley wine.
Their brews are pretty good. They're one of my favorites, and this is called Brother Leo. It's a Belgian style India Pale Ale, and it's really good. I really like it. Got a little bit of a maltiness to it, but not too much, and the hops come through, but not so much to where it's bitter. It's a really good blend to me, and a pretty color.
You said it's an IPA, right?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know? Were you able to find out like what hops and stuff were using it
Um,
or no?
Usually I would take the time to do that, but I took the time to do my makeup instead. You're welcome.
All right.
So,
So but you've had other beers from this brewery before, right?
yes, they
Okay.
have one, a vanilla porter that I love. So
Are they readily available in Jacksonville?
yeah, they come and go in Total Wine because there'll be times when I go in and I see them all over the place, and times I go in that I don't see them. So I would say they must get a shipment maybe every few months.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing, like I said, the only thing I've had from them is their barley wine. So I really don't know a whole lot about them, but I'd give them a go if I came across some more of their stuff.
I recommend them. It's a very strong beer in the sense that it's very well made.
Would you buy that beer again?
Oh, yes, definitely. I mean, I've always liked Red Brick. I like pretty much anything I've had by them, so I would definitely buy it again.
Cool. And what's the ABV on that?
I'm going to have to rethink my lighting situation in here. I'll tell you what, I don't know.
All right, don't worry
Oh,
about it.
wait, I do 8%.
Lolo will be asleep in 10 minutes.
That's why I'm in my recliner.
All right. Charles, what beverage are you partaking in on this something new Friday night?
I have a smutty nose spank.
Ooh.
Is that a handprint on the?
Yes, it
I
is.
like it.
Yep, if you can see,
Yeah.
that's their handprint there. And it is celebrating the 21 years of brewing, and it's a butt-smacking, delicious, hoppy Saison ale.
I love it.
Interesting.
The marketing on that must be fantastic.
Yeah. And there's the beer.
Oh.
You said a hoppy saison, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's pretty much describes it. You get a light farmhouse. It's not a deep funk or anything like that, like
Mm-hmm.
an actual big Belgian farmhouse ale. But it's nice and light and tasty. There's a bit of light fruitiness in it,
Mm-hmm.
and you do get some hops. But it's not really bitter at all. It's pretty nicely balanced.
But you definitely get that that farmhouse yeast type thing that goes on with
Yeah,
saison.
you do get that there. Yeah, you get that there.
Okay.
I like this. I definitely get this again.
Yeah,
I want a little bit of a change, you know? I might maybe have someone who's a hophead and never really had a farmhouse ales. I might have them try something like this as a bridge before moving them over to something like Tank 7 or Saison DuPont.
Mm-hmm.
But it's pretty good.
I can't remember who it was, but I saw somebody else was either drinking or brewing a hoppy saison, and that seems to be becoming a little bit of a thing now.
Yep.
Yeah.
More and more breweries are doing it, and I guess it's just an appeal to the American palate, trying to make a Belgian style a little more American.
A lot of local breweries here are doing that.
Yeah,
Just
Smutty
hopping
Nose.
saison.
Smutty Nose has the dirty mud. I think they call them. Yeah, it's a brown ale sour.
That
saison.
is really.
Yeah, I see. Wait, give me a second. I'll come back to you. Let me find it.
I want to think that Boulevard started this trend when they originally came out Tank 7. They said they were going for the classic style, but they wanted you to know it's an American beer.
Mm-hmm. Because us Americans, we don't like rules too much.
No.
So okay, the name is Smutty Nose Dirty Mud Saison Hoppy Brown Ale.
Dirty
That
mud.
is an outstanding beer.
But it's dirty like DURTY, you know.
Yeah,
Okay.
I had that last year. That is really, really good.
Yeah.
See, and here's the thing, man. I haven't had many beers from Smutty Nose,
Mhm.
and I can't say that I've been intrigued to try too many beers from Smutty Nose either.
They have
So-
the very big like they have the old brand the old dog brown.
Yeah,
they have
very
the very old
That's
which
good.
is really,
Yeah,
really
they're really
good.
old.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
is a really.
I was actually just talking to this guy on Twitter just before the show started. He's I can't pronounce his last name, Villieu maybe, but he's actually drinking a really old brown dog. He's been cellaring for 4 years, so
Oh, nice.
and he says it's absolutely amazing with that age on it.
Not
Because
too many
very
people.
fresh, really old brown dog is really, really hot.
Not many people age a brown ale that long.
Well, they're
It's,
really old brown dogs in old ale.
Yeah, it's an old ale. Yeah.
Ah,
Boom, boom.
that
Some of
explains
their
it.
some of their newer beers and their Smut Labs line, those are pretty
Mhm.
interesting.
Yeah,
But they're all just
big
like
beers,
one-offs, I
dairies,
think.
Smut Labs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
But Smutty Nose was one of my like gateway craft breweries. When I was really just leaving macros behind for good, Smutty Nose is one of the first breweries I really kind of just dove into. I'm a big fan of their Shoals Pale Ale. That's one of my favorite pale ales
I've seen
there is
that.
on the market.
And don't they
So-
also have a bouncy house IPA that's supposed to be good too?
Yes, that's very good.
I think
That's-
they suffer from what some breweries do. Like it's people take them for granted, and
Mm-hmm.
because they've been
certainly
around
do.
for yeah.
All right, Alan, aren't you in Raleigh right now or something like that?
No, I was in Raleigh last night, and
Oh,
everybody is in Asheville tonight except for me.
Aw.
So what's going on is the beer bloggers conference out there, and it's kind of a big deal,
a little bit.
just a little bit. I'm stupid at work. Like I was really supposed to be working this weekend, so it was supposed to be like I couldn't go because of that, and then now is like
Alan, the
what?
more you talk about it, the more mad you're gonna get. So just
I
stop.
know, whatever.
Just stop talking about
Well,
it.
even drinking my beer is gonna get me mad because
Let it
Kim
go.
Jordan tonight
Let
was
it
supposed to be
go.
giving the keynote speech at Sierra Nevada where they're having dinner, and I'm drinking their new Eric Ale, which I've been looking forward to this beer since 2011.
That was the last time it was brewed,
It was
right?
I think it was brewed in 2009 or 2010. And like that was right when I started getting into craft beer, and I heard about it, I saw it, and I started tracking it down like online, different bottle shops, but I just couldn't find it at the time. Found one store that said they had it. I got there and nope.
So obviously you've had it before, like when they were brewing it previous. Oh,
No.
this is your first time even having it.
Yeah, like
Oh.
it's been a chase.
So this is kind of cathartic for you, huh? Like this is like an emotional.
It's
An
even
emotional
with
release.
like after the first release of the Terroir, like this beer and that beer, I kept tweeting them and like emailing them and stuff, trying to figure out like when it's coming back.
So what do you think?
So on the side of the bottle, it says Eric says it best. This is a sour beer for those who don't like sour beers, and a fruit beer for those who don't like fruit beers. And then so essentially it's a blend of a couple different, or I don't know how many different barrels or foeders of Felix, and then it's aged with like it says sour peach ale. I should look into more of the story behind it. I'm just so excited I was able to get it, and I'm sitting here drinking it. Like you definitely get like a lot, like well, not a lot of sourness, but you definitely get like the tartness there, and you get the juicy, fruity, like peach notes. But it's like if I would have had this back then, I would have loved it because it would have been perfect. But I think now that I'm more into like the sour flavors and everything like that, I really want like more sour punch out of it. I want it to be drier. Like it's a really good beer. It was just like if it were drier and a bit more tart, I think it would be like great.
If I had this beer when I first came into craft, it would have been better. But now that my palate is so much more refined.
Sophisticated.
That's the guy who told Sam Caligione that 120 was his gateway beer.
It was. I hated IPAs up until that point.
Starting light, huh?
Pretty much. I mean, it's
So-
really good. It's
That
you
said,
get a lot of like
New
peach
Belgium,
fruitiness, fleshiness, and everything out of it.
New Belgium fanboy who wants more out of that beer. You know, given what you've said about it, would you buy it again?
I have and I will. I kind of have several bottles in my.
Did you buy a case? Did you buy a case?
I didn't buy a case. I did not buy a case.
Case-ish.
One bottle short.
One bottle short.
I mean, maybe like half a case. But
It was a case until he took the one out tonight.
Yeah.
It's not a case anymore. All right. Doug,
So
perfect timing and perfect placement because you came in and boom. I guess you kind of jumped the line in front of Freddie, but regardless, what are you drinking?
I went with a Jester King this evening. It's the Provenance orange and grapefruit.
I've had that beer. Delicious.
So it's I was trying to read up on it a little bit before coming to me, but it looks like it's some sort of just regular old farmhouse that's then fermented with oranges and grapefruits.
Jester King doesn't do anything regular old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything they do is amazing.
So it is. Yeah.
But don't you like how everything is like it's wild east from the airs of Texas, of Asheville, or the manure from the cows of Asheville? It's sometimes a bit too much.
I believe they call it from the Texas Hill Country.
Yeah, that's something like that.
So yeah, it says on their website, farmhouse yeast, native yeast, and souring bacteria from the Texas Hill Country. It's made with orange zest, grapefruit zest, orange juice, and grapefruit juice. Now that being said, you would expect to get more. I think I would expect to get more fruit flavors out of it. But it's definitely, you get that farmhouse saison-esque beer, but you don't really get the juicy, fruity flavors. You definitely get more of that bitter zest.
Yeah, I was about to say I didn't get so much fruitiness, but I got citrusiness out of it when I had it.
Yeah, I mean it's faint, but I think the whatever juice they add, I think you get more from the zest. And then I think I don't get much orange. To me, it's more like the grapefruit zest and the grapefruit juice. I think that kind of overpowers any kind of orange flavor that may have been in this beer. But it's not like it's that old. I mean, this is batch 2, bottled on April 28th. So
would you buy it again?
Yeah, I think I would. It was a toss up for me because I have this one. I've got the I think the lemon lime one, but yeah, it would definitely. I had a buddy of mine that just happened to be in Texas and went to the brewery and picked me up a few bottles.
Word.
And also of course in the Jester King glass.
Appropriate. Have to be appropriate.
Proper.
So, hey, Freddie, real quick, I'm going to jump over you and go to Ricky because I know you're drinking a bomber and Ricky's drinking a 12-ounce bottle.
It's not 12. Oh, yeah, 750.
Oh, never mind.
Go to Freddie.
All right.
Got plenty of
The
time.
one with the teeny tiny bottle.
Okay, we'll go to Linda then.
I'll be on my second. I'll be on my second.
He's drinking the little bottles then.
Linda probably got a swallow left.
Yeah, I've been trying to restrain myself. I got I'm gonna murder this. Herbocaron.
Yep, that sounds about right.
Would you call him?
It is a Spanish ale brewed with Mediterranean seawater.
Were you talking about this? Was it last week, the week before last? I think you were talking about this beer.
I think after one of the shows, yeah.
I think it was one of the afterwards. I remember you mentioning the Mediterranean seawater.
I think that was when we interviewed the guys from Ninkasi. Wasn't that the day that he mentioned
so.
something? Yeah, that's where we talk about the whole seawater, seaweed thing.
Word.
So it's actually pretty. It's a very pretty beer. If you get this, be very careful when you open it because both my husband and I, these things are carbonated like you would not believe. You open the top, you better open it over a sink because it just had me scrambling for towels. And the beer is not bad. it is definitely, it's not sour. It doesn't have any sour character to it. It's really grainy, very yeasty, with just the slightest hint of salt. I saw other people online talking about it, saying like fruity and mango. I don't get any fruit off it. It's almost a goze. Almost.
Okay.
But almost not quite. I mean, you could barely taste the salt, but it's got a nice, refreshing, goze-like character to it.
Usually when the beer has me scrambling for towels, it's a good beer. Napkins.
I mean, I opened it here and just about, I mean, I used up three towels trying to lay all around it. So you're definitely going to lose some when you open it. But it's definitely, I'd go get it again. It's only 4.8%, which is really light for me. I could easily go through about 3 of these, and I would definitely pair it with any appetizer available.
Okay. What is the percentage again? The ABV again?
4.8.
Oh, that's like water for Doug.
I know this one I'm drinking now is only 5.5. I'm like, good God.
So would you buy it again, Linda?
Yeah, I'd definitely buy it again.
Open it up outside, maybe.
Yeah, definitely open it up outside. Let the give a little to the plants.
So how much saltiness you got from the seaweed? Nothing?
I get the barest hint of salt.
Okay.
It's like it just floats like a little bit across your tongue and then fades away.
That's a good thing to put in a goza. I mean, that would be nice in a goza.
It's almost, I mean, if it had just a tiny bit more salt, you could call it a goza.
So almost like let's just call it a goza fail and then keep it moving, right? So,
really grainy and yeasty. I think it's very refreshing.
I haven't experienced a grainy sensation in the beer, but I'd be willing to try it. So cheers to you, Linda. That sounds interesting, nonetheless. I mean, definitely a change of pace beer. It sounds like so.
Yep.
Freddie, I know you're probably out of your beer.
Not too much left.
What drinketh thou?
Tonight, courtesy of the soft-spoken Randy Gardner Jr., drinking a 2015 Blue Belgium's La Folie.
Oh, I have that one.
Sour brown ale.
Long-time listener, first-time drinker.
That's a bit tart.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. Like, it's a sour brown ale. Put to the light, you got like it looks almost like cranberry juice in the light. You know, it's a nice ruby red color. Tons of dark fruit. Dry finish. I think like this, it's a dry finish, but like because it's like a sour, you know, it makes you salivate a little bit, you know. But it almost gives you that impression that it's not like a real dry finish, you know. But it's a solid beer, man. And before I'm asked, I would buy this again if we got it over here.
That's one of the best.
Yeah, it's really good, man. It's awesome.
Is it tart enough for you?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely tart. Absolutely.
On that beer, it's been my experience that the level of tartness kind of varies from year to year. It's never like it never has the same consistent level of sour. At least
it's not like super mouth puckering, but I mean it's definitely tart, man. It's got some really good bite to it. Absolutely.
I thought, and I know Alan's about to say something, but I thought that this year's was more sour than last year's.
I wouldn't say yes. I'm agree with you there, but I remember though drinking back like 2011, that one was like really really tart, and it was kind of ridiculous, but it worked. Yep. And then it seemed like 2012 went down, 2013 went down, and I guess maybe.
Yeah, I had a 2010.
Well, this is one of their best years, 2015.
I think I tried it in 2012, and it was a little too much for me.
I know. I think either 2010 or 2011 were my favorites so far.
I wish I could have had it before 2009.
Have you guys tried 15 yet?
I have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I thought it was very, very solid this year.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
glad.
this
I'm
beer a
glad
lot.
y'all have favorites because I like them all. I ain't gonna turn down none. So
Yeah.
whichever,
Well,
whichever
I'm with you
one is
there.
not your
You
favorite.
know what? Just Randy just want you all to send like a vertical to him, like a 5-year, and you will let us know. You will break the tie.
Right.
Yep, it's great. Yep, it's great. Yep, it's great.
Exactly. All right. So, Freddie, I'm glad you enjoyed your
Absolutely.
La
Thank
Fuente
you.
experience. I know you have been wanting that one for a while,
Yeah,
and so I'm glad you were finally able to experience that.
it's definitely a great beer.
Awesome. Ricky Potts,
So
come on, Pow.
nicely played. So I was in Chicago a few weeks ago, and a buddy of mine who lives in Indianapolis that I've done beer trades with had like 15 bottles that he was going to ship, and I was like, just drive up to Chicago, meet us, and bring the bottles. So he did. And Upland Brewing Company is in Bloomington, Indiana. They make awesome beers, and their sour line is just fantastic. So one of the beers he brought me was Pawpaw from Upland, and I didn't know what a pawpaw was, and I still don't know if I really know what it is past just the little research I did before and what it says on the label about it being the largest plant. What did it say?
The largest fruit
It's the
producing
largest
plant.
fruit-bearing plant native to North America, and the nose on this is what I assume is just straight pawpaw juice. Like, it is just insane on the nose. Like, as soon as I popped the cork, I was like, I could smell it a little bit, and it didn't smell sour really at all. Like, it was just like a really strong fruit juice aroma, and the flavor is just, at first, it's just, imagine like a pineapple, a mango, and like a really sweet apple were blended together, and that's the first flavor, and then the finish is just straight sour, like lip-sucking sour. And I haven't had a drink in probably 7 or 8 minutes, and it's still there. Like, the sour, every time I swallow, it's still like a coat of my tongue, and it is just unbelievably good. And I haven't had a lot of Upland lately since I moved to Arizona, and this is a special brew.
See, in Brazil, we call it the poor man's banana. It's Thomas Jefferson's favorite fruit.
Interesting.
Although known by many names,
Like I knew all that. I just Google it.
yeah, they call it the Indiana banana.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Well, the translation. I made a loose translation, like
Yeah.
poor man's banana.
Well, it says on the label that it's called the Indiana banana.
Okay.
I think that was Randy's nickname in high school.
Where you been, Doug? Where have you been?
I was just about to say something. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna say that.
But the cool thing about this brewing company, like, they make a lot of beers, like a lot of just baseline, basic, like IPAs and porters and stouts and whatnot. But like their sour line, they're really hard to get too. Like, even if you're in Indiana, like, they're tough to come by. So my buddy Tom Atkins gave me this, and he's not watching because he's at Dave Matthews tonight. But I'm gonna text him in a minute and tell him that I called him out and that I'm drinking this because this is fantastic. It's getting a 4.5 on Untapped from me.
I ain't gonna lie, Ricky. I want that beer now. I mean, because the flavors that you described, like what you get on the very beginning,
Yeah.
and then the sour finish, like, that sounds appropriate.
And it's got like an almost like a soda pop carbonation too. Like, it's really like not like saison carbonated, but it's got just like, it drinks like a soda. Like, you don't taste any alcohol at all, no hop character whatsoever. Like, it's almost like a carbonated fruit juice that's
Yeah.
Well,
those
just
three
say,
flavors are what's sticking out in my head. Like, I mean, I don't get like banana. Like, there's no banana flavor. Like, maybe
I'm reading the medicinal properties in this, and it's said that it's a very famous fruit for causing what's known as scratch a-hole syndrome.
Oh, no.
Just reading just reading in the medical journal here, just to let you know.
how do we go from fruit juice to scratching?
Just so you know tomorrow what's going on.
He did say it was a medical journal, so everything's
Juice
okay.
to ass itch.
Well, I would love to have a beer that has aspirations initially
Aspirations.
to be juicy and refreshing, and then you get filled with regret halfway through, and then tries to end up being super sour. However, I don't want to feel like I'm pooping kiwi fruit skin the next day.
Well, it's juicy all the way.
So up until that last part, I was thinking of the scene in Gone Girl. and
Sorry,
then you ruined it.
sorry, I derailed this train, but as I read that, I had to share. I just had to.
So
Sorry.
They
good
should
luck.
put that on the bottle.
Hey, good luck with that, Ricky.
Somebody put a link in the chat, and I was like, I hope it's to the link for the scratching, but it wasn't.
No, it's the goats. But you can put
I
those
know.
together. You could the goats munching on your.
Yeah.
All right. So,
They live in goats, sheep, and cows all day.
and much like Alan, I am drinking an Eric's Ale as well.
Nice.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ricky. Would you buy it again?
The price point is no, is the answer. They're overpriced in my opinion a little bit, and I can't get it here. They're only available in Indiana. I'd trade for more beers from Upland that are in the sour series before I would trade for this one again.
So
Plus,
based on
Ricky
taste,
doesn't drink the same beer twice.
Yeah, I have this thing. Yeah, Alan knows.
based on taste, you'd buy it. Based on price point, you wouldn't buy it.
Yeah, the flavor is just every time I take a sip, like unbelievable how good this beer is.
All right. Well, we almost made it through the show without having a duplicate beer, but Alan want to be all Eric Ale drinking, so drink my beer. So I'm drinking an Eric's Ale as well, and I don't know if Alan told you, but it's a wood ale sour. It's a wood aged sour peach ale by New Belgium, and I don't know if he told you, but Eric says it best. This is a sour beer for those who don't like sour beers. I'm just kidding.
No, keep going. You're already there. You committed.
You're doing good. I mean, there's an amazing silk screen done, on the bottle.
Yeah, and I'll say this about this series. It's the Lips of Faith series. The bottles are all, like Gil said, they screen print the labels on the bottle. So if you're into cutting off bottles and making drinking vessels out of them, I mean the artwork on these bottles are usually pretty cool. So this would be a good bottle for that. But nonetheless, Alan kind of seems like he was slightly disappointed with the beer, even though he probably wouldn't want to admit that on air live. But
That's not what I said.
okay, well.
Because Alan would never say
Alan,
I
He's
said
playing the fifth right now.
No.
He's like,
I said I love sour, so I wish it was. It says for people that don't like sours, don't like fruit beers. I love sour, so I wish it had more of that sour kick and more like. I wish it was drier. That would definitely balance out the
That's why they
Juicy.
have the other La Folie 2015 for you to drink,
There
and
you go.
Terroir and
Terroir, yep. But I thought that this beer was
Quick
like
little blend.
it's not like a punch in the face with peaches. I get like faint peachy sweetness going on, but the beer, as I told Ricky earlier, it's like a little bit past tart and a little bit before sour. I felt like for a sour beer, it's much more refreshing than I expected it to be. Drinks, I mean, not that 7% is a big beer, but this beer drinks really easily. You wouldn't think that it was 7%. You'd probably think closer to 5, but nonetheless, it's a good beer. I'm glad I bought a second bottle. Price, to Ricky's point, price point is a little high on this. I think I paid like either $13.99 or $14.99 for this.
Good God.
you got it
Oh,
cheaper than I did.
$15 here.
I've
Yeah,
done that before.
It's
And-
it's $8.99 here.
Really?
Wow.
I hate
you. And the thing is, I grabbed 2 bottles because normally the beer in this series are not that expensive. They're usually around what you said, Doug. And then like I got home and I looked at my receipt and I was like, what?
Yeah, because normally for us, like around here, like La Folie is generally the highest one.
They're about the $10
Transatlantic.
range. That's where most La Folies are, on the $10 range, which is not bad for
randomly
that
gets
kind of beer.
Yeah, this grocery store randomly gets stuff like this in, and they've had it on the shelf now, and it's $8.99. It's crazy.
But you have to remember that they may not have produced as much as they normally do of La Folies. They have to see we can make so many bottles and we to put it out and make some money out of this.
Because I was about to say, all things considered, La Folie is one of their biggest wood-aged beers, right? And they usually
They have
put
a
out
party for it every year.
right. So and not only that, they put out a bunch of La Folie. And Lafayette is aged in those foeders for how long, Alan?
3 to 5
1
years,
to
I
3,
believe.
yeah. It was
One
1
to
to
three.
3.
1 to 3. Yeah.
It's the blend.
So 1 to 3 years, Lafayette is aged in these foeders, which means that these foeders are tied up, right? So they don't have a lot of space to brew a lot of other sour beers, I'd guess.
Well, the thing that's cool with their sour program is they actually use the same 2 beers, Felix and Oscar, to do all their sour beers. It's just they blend them like different years, different like the 2 beers between each other, the single one between each other. So just different years, different foeders, and that's how they come up with pretty much all the sour beers.
So even with Eric's ale?
Mm-hmm. This was all Felix. It's just different foeders, different years.
Nice. See, dropping knowledge. See, why you ain't say that when we?
Well, I got another fun fact if you want.
Go ahead, keep on.
So Eric's Ale was actually the first loose lips beer that was released on a major scale, and the loose lips beers were pretty much an employee contest pretty much, and like the winner of the contest was able to design and brew any beer they wanted. And when Eric Salazar won it, I guess they turned it up, and back in 2000, I think it was 2009 was the first year, but they went ahead and pushed on full scale production then and shipped across country.
Turn up.
So my price theory just went down to the drain.
Your what theory?
About why it's a little more expensive than the other Lafalis.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah.
So don't feel bad, Gil. You're not alone.
Well, but I like when brewers do that. I think Terrapin does that every year. They have this, I don't know, some kind of dinner. I don't know if there's Christmas get together, end of the year, whatever they do, and they have this competition where you have to have people from on your team. You have to have the guy from accounting. You have to have a group of people from different parts of the brewery, and you have to brew a beer, and whoever wins, they brew that beer on larger scale, right? And I find that the kind of fun thing for brewers to do.
Well, was it Ballast Point, or that we talked about that they did that? They'll do like a employee, and then they'll put on like their like.
I think that's how they got Indra Canindra, but I could be wrong.
I think they do it like on their original brew pub, like on the original brew system. If it's popular, they'll bump it up the next system, and then if it's eventually things work their way all the way up to their main production line. But I think Dogfish also has like a employee kind of contest.
Because that's something that urges people to do their best. You're getting a bunch of people trying to do something that they love about it, and those things I think are fun. Like we talked to Tim Matthews, which is the head brewer of Oscar Blues yesterday, and Randy asked him, or Matthew asked him, like, how the hell do you guys get that sentence down under on every bottle, every can? If you're looking on your can, I have.
How do they come up with what's?
This one says. Yeah, this one is. It's almost a year old and says Stearns for Tony, right? And they said, somebody gets in there on the first day when they raise the chalkboard and write something in there, and that thing just goes into the bottle. Those things are just cool things,
He also mentioned that Colorado's new law about marijuana helps too. I got that.
Do you know, Randy, if the new brewery from New Belgium is gonna have folders as well?
You asking me or Alan?
Or one of you? Yeah.
Just say yes, Randy. Just say yes.
As a matter of fact, I think they got like an insane amount of fooders at the North Carolina brewery, right? Like 40 something maybe.
Wow. Yeah.
I have to look at
Okay.
numbers. I don't know what the number is for there.
It's a lot. I remember reading it and I was like, dang, where y'all gonna put them at? But whatever,
I'm gonna guess in the brewery, but I could be wrong.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug Nolan. Is anybody on their second beer?
I am.
Yep.
Gil. Okay, let's start back from the left. Gil, what are you drinking?
Okay, this brewery proves how a brewery can make amazing lagers. Jack's
Abbey.
Jack's Abbey. Yeah.
Yep.
Although I have to mention that
Hoponius.
New Glarus on Wisconsin also makes amazing, how was it?
Lagers.
Amazing lagers as well. Now, this is kind of a cheat. I'm drinking a lager, but it's a Baltic Porter. And you guys know Baltic Porters are some of my favorite styles of beer. And this is a traditional Baltic because, it's unfiltered and it's a lot of smoke taste because Baltics are a little thinner bodied than your stout is. But you look at the lacing of this beer, and I poured, I know, soon after my first review, and it smells amazing. There's a lot of malt coming through, a lot of smokiness, some hints of caramel in it, and it's a little thicker body for. I normally expect to have a thinner body for a Baltic, but which is kind of a nice surprise. There's a nice thicker body, and look at the color of this beer. It's just amazing. I mean, this is a well done Baltic Porter. So
all the variants on that are insane.
Yeah.
Vanilla, they have a coffee, they have a chipotle.
So
peanut butter and jelly variant.
Yeah. So I'm gonna hashtag the AO snobs. If you're an AO snob, you should try beers from Jack's Abbey, and this Baltic Porter is just excellent. So there's a lot of roast malts on it, a lot of smokiness, beautiful body, and just the lacing alone is so beautiful in the glass.
And it's a big beer too.
Amazing. It's like 10%. You're right. It's right at 10%. So I guess that's why I'm not feeling my lips after 3 beers. But yeah, this is a serious beer. Big bold flavors. I mean, they could easily have called this a stout, and I would buy it as a stout. So pretty good beer. I think this is not pretty good beer. This is excellent beer. If I don't like to rate beer, but I would easily do a 4.5 to 4.75 on an end tap or whatever you call it. Try Jack's Abbey is amazing. Those guys are just they do some beers that are worth to trade or to get for. And did you send me that? Somebody sent me that. I don't even know who sent. Who
in this group you think sent you that beer?
Let me think about it. Who sent me this beer? It's a good thing I like it. And so as Baltic goes, which is my favorite style by far, Baltic Porters, this is an excellent, amazing beer.
I don't know if I've ever heard anybody say a Baltic Porter is their favorite style. Like, don't get me wrong. I know. I absolutely love Baltic Porters.
Yeah, it is my favorite style. It's
well, the thing too about them is there's such a wide range of things that fit into that category. When we did our competition for our club, we had all these commercial examples, and they're all over the place.
Probably giving bad examples.
Well, the problem is you gotta lose that once they start letting AO East being called Baltic Port. I think a traditional Baltic has to be lagered, which takes longer. It's a lot of work. The malts, you get a lot of more smokiness into the beer. And that's what I expected when I try a traditional Baltic Porter.
I think the lagered ones taste far better, in my opinion.
It does.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
I wished I had more access to use my chest freezer more for fermentation, because the best beer I've ever made by far was the Baltic Porter, and it was the only thing I disliked about it was the fact that it took from the day I brewed it to the day I got to drink it. It was, I don't know, 3 or 4 months. Because I lagered it for I think 2 months.
All right. So we got 8 minutes to get to everybody else. Lola, second beer, go.
First of all, this beer describes me perfectly. Anyone want to guess?
Drunk.
Nope. The name of the beer. Because I'm cold and I'm hard on the inside. I'm soulless. have no soul. Just blackness.
We knew that about you a long time ago, Laura.
Exactly. I'm wily. Anyway,
Coyote.
this is by Rivertown, and they are out of Ohio, and it's a Scarlet Sour Ale, Flanders style, and it's good. It's really good.
So it's a Flanders Red, basically, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Everybody likes a good sour. Flanders counts.
Yep.
Lots of sours tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Charles is dropping Ninja Smoke. Alan.
I'm still drinking on this one right now, and
Okay.
gonna let you know what we're doing is after we get off air.
Charles. Beer numero dos.
Well, I am still finishing the Smutty Nose, but I do have a Weyerbacher. It's a dark Belgian. I'd have to go look at the name. It says Weyerbacher 20.
20. Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll go grab a bottle in a moment because I'm just about done with this.
Doug dropped Ninja Smoke too. Freddie.
I'm drinking Boulevard's Imperial Stout, Aztec Chocolate Stout.
Want hard.
Yes.
Want.
Wow.
How is it?
Yes.
It is awesome. Chocolate, slight hint, like a lot of like a chili pepper note, slight coffee. The only thing I'm getting from this that I wish it had was a little bit more body. It's a little light in the body. So if it was a little bit chewy, I'd be like,
What
I mean,
style is it?
It's Imperial
it's an
Stout.
Imperial Stout.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I see.
then-
I thought the Imperial Stout. I thought it had the regular version. I mean, I assumed that that's just a variant of it.
Yeah.
But maybe
This
it was
is-
the year I had it. I thought it had appropriate body, but it's
This for me, it's like a little light in the body for me.
okay.
But other than that, I mean, on the palate, man, you're getting a lot of like a roasted malt, a lot of like a chocolate, a lot of pepper coming through. It's really good, you know. The only thing I wish for is like it's a little chewiness, a little thicker, you know, heavier body perhaps.
And I know you'd buy it again because you're the only one who won't hesitate to drink a freaking bourbon barrel aged Imperial Stout, and when it's like 97 degrees. So
Mowing my lawn.
yeah.
No, I have no issues with that.
I also have no issues with that. Just
Doug,
saying.
what's your second beer?
My second beer is from our great friends at Breckenridge. They're Breck IPA. I don't know if they've ever. This is the first year I've ever seen it even available. But it's a nice kind of. Of course, my camera sucks, so it's kind of a nice orangey golden color. It's not over the top bitterness. It's a nice kind of. It's a very well balanced. This definitely has more of the piney, floral, not too citrusy. It's kind of has that kind of piney bitterness up front with a little citrus malty sweetness kind of on the finish, but overall it's pretty good.
Awesome. Linda Dean.
Well, I know probably most of you have had this. I have never had it.
Oh my god, that's so good.
Okay, now, I am really rough on dessert type beers, and I have to admit, I have had creme brulee by some of the best chefs ever in New York, including Sirio Macchioni, who.
What? Cereal Macchioni? Shit.
Cereal, and I go way back.
Yeah.
The whole point behind the creme brulee is that you're supposed to be tasting luxury.
Yep.
And yeah, I get it. I totally get it. The only thing I get that I didn't expect was the coffee overtones. But
Let me
the
ask you this,
luxury,
Linda. Can you drink that bomber by yourself? I can't.
I can't.
No way.
Crazy rich.
You
got
need to have food. If you have food along, you can. But on
well,
its
I mean, I
own,
still have about a half a pot of chili, but I won't eat this with chili. I'll probably eat it with the homemade bread.
but she has a beer body. Come on, tell us. You have a beer body that's gonna share that with
Well,
you.
yeah, no, it's you're still right. Like when Rainey first said that about the bomber. Like
There's her
the
beer
first-
buddy.
Yeah.
the first thing that
Definitely
came to my mind was like,
Yeah.
I wish that beer was not necessarily bottled in a 12-ounce bottle, but bottle that shit like something like a 6-ounce bottle.
Me
I agree.
too.
Why
It's-
not come in a six pack, right?
It's
Maybe
like
they will, man. You never know. They're
Yeah,
gonna
I
pump
would-
them.
I
They're
would-
gonna
yeah,
pump
I
them
would-
six-packs.
I don't know. I
Six-packs.
actually think it's because it's intended to share. It's that rich. It's that luxurious. It's really.
I want to
you
hear.
know,
But I
I want to
don't
hear
have
what
any-
You,
Doug.
this is a beer you show up at somebody's house and go, hey, let's spend the night
Well,
together.
well, I think too.
I want to hear what Doug had to say before about. Would you buy on a six pack, Doug?
I would probably be more inclined to buy a 6-pack than I wouldn't like with bombers, because so often
Same here.
for me, like there's obviously some exceptions. I'm obviously drinking a 750 milliliter right now, but you know, like this is but this is like the Saison Farmhouse, easy drinking. That beer is so intense, but my only other problem with that beer, other than it being so rich and being the big bottle, I think sometimes when you drink because I've drank an entire bomber of that before, I think when you get to the end of the bottle, the sweetness almost starts to seem artificial. Like to me, it kind of has that,
Sickly.
yeah.
I think that's probably because it gets too warm.
Yeah,
Right
like-
now, there's a reason
Yeah.
they put 42 degrees Fahrenheit on the bottle. That's
Yeah,
if
like,
it
if you
gets
drink
any
it
warmer
cold,
than,
it's-
it gets any warmer than that,
I definitely agree.
it's gonna start
Well-
tasting kind of yucky.
I think everybody agrees that beer is rich. And Doug, to your point, I can easily see where it gets artificial because by the time you get to enter the bottle, it's just too much. It's too much for your palate, except for Freddie and except for apparently Ricky's girlfriend who's drank 32 ounces of it before. But for
She lives with Ricky.
sitting
She
at
lives
the
with
party.
Ricky, so she has to.
Man up, man. Just man up.
nonetheless, it's a good beer. It's a rich beer. I'd rather buy it in a 6-pack because that beer ain't going nowhere. It'll probably age nicely, and you can kind of control your doses, for lack of a better expression.
And
So,
they are doses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I totally would agree. This beer would
So-
age beautifully, absolutely
Yeah.
beautifully.
Ricky,
I think it has a beautiful nose, man. That thing smells awesome.
Does.
Ricky.
It smells
I'm
fantastic.
still finishing the pawpaw.
okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and finish it up
That's
with
what your grandma said.
Oh,
Boom.
Doug. Play
or
nice,
someone else's papa.
Shots fired.
play nice. So I'm gonna see Gil's framing hammer and raise him a
Oh.
coffee barrel-aged
Oh.
framing hammer.
That is awesome.
That's right.
Oh man.
Don't get mad at my connect in Boston. I'm not naming no names.
I have a feeling the same connected here.
I want.
it-
Do you still get the smokiness on the coffee one?
I get coffee.
Is that all your? Is that all your? Is that like a fresh brewed pot of coffee poured in a glass with beer, or is it?
Actually-
is there,
Actually, the coffee is pronounced, but I've had beers that had coffee in them that was tasted like it was all coffee. This has a good amount of coffee, but it still allows everything else in the beer to kind of almost balance. It's slightly unbalanced with too much coffee. It's not overwhelming with too much coffee, if that makes sense. But I wish I could get a little more of the barrel aged notes in it, but it's delicious. And I heard that there's a Chipotle version of this beer,
Wow.
Oh.
but it's not bottled, so doesn't matter.
Tisk.
So that all said, this beer is delicious. Again, it's a lager. So for you ale snobs, if you are an ale snob, try a well-made Baltic porter, and you might find yourself, changing your mind because you don't find too many lagers that are 10% outside of like a Doppelbock or something like that. So
They have again. They do make a 15% porter called the Laganess Monster as well.
it's a Baltic porter or a straight-up porter.
Baltic
Okay.
barrel aged 15%.
Those guys are doing it, man. They're taking the lager game to another level. So, that all said, in the spirit of our Friday Night Hangout, something new, carry it on to tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Drink something new. Don't be afraid to try that beer that you've always seen on your shelves that you always pass on because you don't know anything about it. I mean, if you don't drink it, you'll never know anything about it. So give it a go. What's the worst that could happen? You drink a beer that you don't like? Well, you probably got some other beer in your house that you do like. So you could use it as
What's the word about it? You wasted $5.
I mean, hey, it's science.
You
right?
won't know until you try it.
Exactly. Do it in the name of science, man.
Empiric testing, yes.
And invite somebody else to taste it with you.
Right. If you're drinking creme brulee, definitely get somebody else to
I'm doing a whole bottle
drink that
myself.
with you.
Yeah, invite the kids from the neighborhood. Just everybody come
Yeah.
on.
So that said,
You get
be
Rick's dog to help you drink it.
yeah, Cheryl will help. If you're drinking creme brulee and you need somebody to help you drink it, Cheryl will definitely be there to help you because she can put down the creme
Straight
brulee.
growlers of that.
So Gil, do you know what next week's style is?
Next week's
Outdoor beers, right?
The Great Outdoors number
Yeah,
two.
Great Outdoors number 2. We did a Great Outdoors last year. There was a lot of a discussion about it. But it basically beers that in a hot summer day you're mowing your yard or just sitting outside or you're watching your kids killing themselves on the yard. Something, just
So,
So I can
down
bring the
and
same
enjoy.
beer. Yeah, I can bring the
So
same
you
beer.
Like for Doug.
And grab a beer.
I'll bring my bourbon barrel Sedano.
Yeah, that's
Perfect.
Doug's
Yeah.
beer. A session,
Yeah.
a nice session IPA or something, and Doug's
Sunday morning style.
barrel aged beer.
So whatever beer for you is essentially a lawnmower beer outside, just chilling beer,
Or you're going trekking, you're going camping,
Yeah.
anything that has to do with the great outdoors.
Did you say
Or-
trekking?
beers in cans, or it could be a beer with an outdoor theme, a camping theme or whatever. So it's a wide gambit of things that you can choose from for next week's style. So be sure to tune in next week for our show, episode 168, when we're talking about the great outdoors. So until then, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.